different
Feel.
feel. I mean, our first one went there, and then I got lazy
Exactly.
and then went over. But then when I read,
Yeah, you put most of them in there. We got 2, 4, 6. So yeah, that's pretty good shooting though, right there.
all right. Are we live? Yeah, we live. We lit. We live. We lit. What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James, and I. Let me get out of this. We're just getting started. I know this will be live to some people. We'll get a chance to share this um in a couple different places. Um, bring any questions or comments that you guys have about what's going on, and then we will I want to try my best to explain a complex situation um to everyone. Um, if we get people to hop on, I know everybody has been discussing the Josh Farmer situation. A lot of opinions have been had about the young man. Some I'll say are fair, most aren't, but um, but I also get where people are coming from, and one of the things that I always say is that you don't have to choose sides. You it's really unnecessary actually. Like all you have to do is just take things for what it's worth and what you believe, and then you know go from there. But share this a couple places. I know a couple people asked me if I would talk about it or whatever, but I had to try to get my thoughts right before I went all the way in. All right, so here we go. All right, so for those who don't know, and I guess if people come in and don't, whatever is just a recording. For those who don't know, Florida State lost redshirt sophomore defensive tackle Joshua Farmer to the transfer portal. To today, a lot of the speculation went to where it went yesterday. It was going to happen yesterday, but he actually entered his name into the portal, and he's gonna get a ton of interest. Everybody has kind of flocked to social media. He has been the talk, and a lot of fans are getting upset because we're gonna get trolled for it. And I'm not even gonna like I'm not even gonna hold you. It is a loss, and even when I explain away the story, it's still going to be a undefensible troll. One of the things that we were able to get his teammate and friend Daryl Jackson from the University of Miami due to probably some shady stuff with NIL, only to lose him. And he is really what the best thing I could say is the portal giveth and the portal taketh away. We lost Derek McClendon a little bit earlier, like right after during spring practice, and then you lost Josh Farmer, both for what seems to be NIL reasons, two completely different NIL reasons. Though, if you were to ask me, let's go first into what happened with with what happened with Josh Farmer. So Josh Farmer is a young man. If you know his background, his background is raised by his grandparents, got very close with his family. And one of the things about growing up is that it's growing up gifted as a African American or in general. You are taught that you are special. You feel like mutants sometimes, but we play a game, and that's what it's always stressed: is you play this game, you play this game. Yet this game can literally change your life. This game can make you a multimillionaire like that overnight. So typically this stuff is held for when you're 21, 22 years old. But now, and even then, you're still too young, but you're the highest paid person in your family. So you skyrocket up to the top of your family, the familiar tree, and all of a sudden your opinions, your thoughts, everything that you do, you're the breadwinner for the family. You have something that can change the lives of everybody else that's around you. Now, when you go into there's a little bit of survivor's remorse, which is for my psych people, go study that. Like you feel like you were gifted this because we talk about it. We call it a game. And what I want people to realize is Monopoly is a game. You can roll out of your bed and play Monopoly tomorrow. You can't roll out of your bed and be one of the top 2% of all football players in high school. So there's that. So now with this opportunity and with name, image, and likeness, you are now presented with opportunities to be able to leverage your gifts to be able to do more for your family. So Josh felt in the position that he was in that he needed to leverage what he had to be able to do what's best for him and his family. And the numbers are all over the place, so I'm not going to use numbers that I know. I'm going to use more for abstract. And what I tell a lot of people is it's easy to think of things in terms of what you see and what you perceive. But if you had the opportunity to go make $200,000 tomorrow and you only made $100,000 currently, but another company is offering you this, you know good and damn well you would leave the company that has been with you from day one to go make money. It's the American dream. It's how business is done. It's capitalism in its purest form. Now, your current company may try to give you a counter offer, but if they can't match the money that is being promised to you, you would be doing your family a disservice by not going and chasing that bag. Now, that's unpopular. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to feel that. But you know good and damn well if you were put in a similar situation, you would do it with the hopes that it's true. I don't know. We hope that it's true. I did talk to one school that asked if they could get farmers' information, and I told them a number, and they said that number's doable. They have the money to be able to give a player like Farmer that kind of money. And if that school, which is what I believe is a lower level P5, but can swing up with the big dogs when they need to, I can only imagine what your Ohio States, your Michigans, your Georgias could potentially do if they view him as a guy that could be a potential contributor in the 2024-2025 season when he's a junior and he's a senior. So God bless. But the biggest thing is that he had a family need and he wanted that need met. 100% understand the move on Josh Farmer's part. The other side of this is, there's people don't want to necessarily, like when you have these deals and these marketing deals are done, they're contracts. They're written in stone. You do X amount of things for this, and that's kind of the way that these things are written. So there was not much budget that I guess was going to go on for it. So, and 100% get with that situation is because you can't just manufacture marketing deals. Like you don't just pull them out of your ass. We got to remember, collectives are not pay for play, and there has to be structure. There has to be a rhyme or a reason for every decision that they make, and it has to match the market value. They can't be held responsible for the personal problems that go on with the athlete. It's no different than if it was like the NFL. Like, for example, or you were a professional athlete. Nike may want more money from Nike, but Nike can't necessarily pay you because you're going through something, and then it'd be nice for them to do it. They may be able to front you the money. There's instances in professional sports, we've seen it with a teammate of mine, Antonio Cromartie, where they were able to take a personal situation that he had off the field with his money, with his new money that he made, clear all that stuff, get it right, and then move forward. Those are things that can happen. But it doesn't mean they're going to give you more money because of your situation. Because Battles In is a collective that takes care of a lot of student athletes. Everybody has something going on, and that's what you learn as an adult. Everybody has things going on. And again, it's not their job to bend to the whims of their clients and the people that they represent. Now, I think there was some things that maybe could have been done, but I get where they're at. They've worked with him in the past to work with some stuff to change some things around. You can't keep doing that. You got to eventually stand your ground, and you got to eventually do some stuff. So where is the bigger picture in all of this? Like, it hurts, but the one position that Florida State could probably take a hit at was D-Town. If we're being honest, you still have Fisk, who you expect to play. If you're able to maintain Jackson and keep him with his, and he was on social media saying that he's all no, but if he's able to get his waiver, you've got him. You've got Io. You've got Fabos coming back. You're 5 deep when it comes, and this would have made us 6 deep. But there's some things that Florida State could do, and then what has to happen is the next person has to step up in order to make the group good. And Odell's just going to have to coach a little bit. What's crazy though is this might be where if he lands at a major Power 5, Farmer, and I'm going to give Zach Bluestein the most credit for this idea. Zach Bluestein posted a picture of Josh Farmer when he committed, compared to a clip from the spring, and it's night and day what Coach Storms and what Coach Norvell and Coach Odell Higgins have been able to do in the development during this time period. He looks like an absolute monster, and he's a thick kid. He's amazing hands, hand speed, strong hands, does a lot of good things. So when you look at this, I think he'll be able to, tell a high school kid that works, you come here, you got to get developed. You can go somewhere else. But it's a really real testament, because one of the things that people have asked, because Mike Norvell has relied so heavily on the portal, is who has Mike Norvell developed? Josh Farmer is clearly one of the kids they've taken from high school on up here, and you can clearly see the development when it comes to that. But one of the things that I will say, from looking at everything on all sides and not looking straight down the middle, is that what this is a missed opportunity for Farmer. And oh shoot, I've been missing all kinds of questions. I didn't even see. My bad, guys who are in the chat. I didn't see the questions, so like now I see them. So all right. So let's see. Keep in mind companies you work for. All right. Okay. So anyways, so that was some comments that I just couldn't, for whatever reason, I can't see them on my end. I had to just look into this. But the thing about, we got to look for these guys, and what we as a fan base, and here's where I believe both sides messed up. So I talked about how I felt. I understand where Josh is coming from. Got to do what's best for your family. Understand where Battles In is coming from. You can't just manufacture new deals. That's not how this works. But what I will say is that we've got to do a better job of understanding short-term and long-term implications. This too shall pass is one of the things that always gets said. And one of the things that I've always realized is no matter how bad the situation is, typically if I just ride it out, it will all work itself out in the end. And you're not talking about a guy who comes from affluence, but you're talking about a guy who's been through some things and has literally made his money from the ground up, whether it be from hitting people in the mouth or talking about other people hitting them in the mouth. I understand these things. There have been great times, there have been bad times. There have been times when I have to wait for the next great thing while I'm in the path of while I'm pursuing my purpose. So Josh, I think if he would have been able to do what he does best and live up to the expectations, I think the sky would have been the limit for what he would have been able to produce in marketing deals in the next season. I think he would have been able to really like break the bank. He's a very marketable young man. He's a local. It's a lot of stuff that I think would have been there. That would have been low-hanging fruit that could have exponentially changed the trajectory of what his family is going through right now. I remember talking to a young Noel a year ago, a little over a year ago. And I said, let's not make a life decision over a temporary feeling. So basically, like, you have 6 months to figure this out. And I told him, if you're not in the league, you should have performed well enough to be able to get yourself some better marketing deals. Because this NIL stuff is all new. Now, the hard part is, and that's easy for me to tell him at 30, 38, almost 39 years old, but I've been through it. The hard part is and Battleson is doing a great job of getting financial planners like AT and Didier, and then getting some other guys in there that's working with the guys that look more relatable to them. Because I'm going to be honest with you, it's full transparency. A lot of times it just looks like, if it were me and I were in that situation, I'd be like, man, it's just a bunch of white people throwing money at me, and they don't understand me, and I don't understand them. I think they've done a really good job of trying to bridge that gap. In my opinion, the next step would be finding, it doesn't have to be a Florida State player, but finding somebody to hire that is a former athlete that has gone through this. And that's not a coach. Regardless of what you feel, we have former alumni that are coaching at Florida State. Their job is to do what's in the best interest of Florida State, and there's going to always be that wall. But what you need is somebody who can talk in the best interest of the school and of the athlete, and be able to explain the gravity of what you've joined into. Everybody talks about these kids need representation. These kids got representation. A lot of their representation is shitty. You may not like me for it, agents, but the real big time agents aren't in the thick of this with your normal, everyday, regular players. What do I mean by that? I mean, Drew Rosenhaus may represent a couple guys, but there's not a lot of money in this. Like, people see the bread, but it's like, or you read about the bread, but I'm here to tell you the bread ain't what you think it is. For a lot. For some it is. But it's like you're talking about, even if they do a marketing deal where you could go upwards to 20% on a marketing deal, let's say it's a marketing deal for, I don't know, let's just say it's $100K, right? $20,000, that's a lot of money in one lump, in one nut for you or me. Actually, y'all. But I could do a lot of less time-consuming things and make $20,000. Just gonna be honest with you. And a lot of agents can do the same. Like, that's why they stay in here. And some of them may only do this just to be able to have the opportunity to hire them for an NFL contract. So They have representation. It's just not good representation. They also have their needs. They have their family in their ear, and they have back channel coaches. So people are always talking about this. They're always saying, man, you can get more, you can get more, you can get more. Sometimes it's not as true as what they would hope to believe, but it is what it is. And but I do think that if you had a guy come in that's been through these things, that's seen the kind of wealth that some of these guys are starting to attribute or will potentially get, and can truly articulate it in a manner in which they are comfortable. When I talk to some of these kids, they're just not comfortable with who they're talking to. And the joke I said yesterday is, I'm gonna tell y'all till I'm blue in the face, but I'm also never going to volunteer myself because I don't think y'all have enough money to be able to pay me to be able to do what it is that y'all want. And I think that's really the only flaw that I'll say in all of this is that in the initial conversations, and this is only going by what I've seen in a couple of things, it's always about what and not about why. And as one of my mentors told me, you get paid or you'll have high success when you figure out the why behind the what. And I think that's where the disconnect is happening, is that you have people who are seeing the what and trying to solve the what, but not the why we got to the position that we are. And a lot of people will say, well, that's why you need financial planning, and that's why you need this, and you need financial blah, 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 bullshit. I'm going to quote you. What my quote is this: when I learned how to budget $100,000, that's when I made $100,000. When I learned how to budget $250,000, that's when I made $250,000. And the $250,000 that I made recently is different than the 300 that I made when I was in the league as a W-2 employee. I have a 1099 now. I have a business, and there's a bunch of different cutbacks and different things that we need. I'm listening to some of the advice that some of these kids are getting as 1099 marketing people in a tax bracket that's still relatively low. Doesn't make any sense. And then one of my mentors who is multi-million-dollar in event spaces said, James, when I learned how to budget $1 million, that's when I made fucking $1 million. I didn't know how to do that when I only made 60,000. The reality is we're giving these young men and women on the NIL side too money that was never available to them in previous years. Access that has never been available to them in previous years. But we're not equipping them with the people that can help them from a maturity standpoint really truly navigate some of the pitfalls. And I think we're getting better. I think we're way more competent and way ahead of where most people think. But I will tell you this: Florida State, from a collective side, from a booster side, from another side, from all the sides, ain't broke. It's a matter of we probably went to the well too many times, and one person had to do what was best for them, and the other side had to just sit back and be like, all right, man, I appreciate the opportunity. We wish you nothing but success as long as your interests don't interfere with our interests. And that's basically the nutshell. I wish I could give you a more drama-filled thing, but the reality is this is truly a case where if you know the kid and you know all the other stuff involved, you're mad because you know what he could have been at Florida State, and you're mad because you know it could have worked and it should have worked, but you're not mad at why he's doing it. It's part of the business. If he got hurt, something happened to him, we would have to move on, and that's the same thing that we got to do right now as well. Next man up. That's why you recruit. That's why we needed to make sure we do a better job of making sure we land some of the top guys in the trenches, because while this doesn't bother us this year, it does bother us in the next few years. So what I'll do right now is, if there are any questions related to this, or related to FSU. What's up, Charles Walker? Hopping in. Any questions that are related to a lot of these different things, man? Just let me know, and I'll try my best to address them. Remember, um, make sure we're trying to still get to 2,000 once we could have had 2,000 likes, and this would have been my first one. We would have been doing a giveaway with about 40 people. So, what up, Steve? But we any questions that we have, I'll let you guys get to that so we can address that. Make sure you get the tailgate. Right now, I'm still waiting on those sponsors to sign this contract so we can do more. How does this affect Daryl Jackson? I don't really know. They're good friends. Obviously, they played in school together. But Daryl Jackson was on IG Live today, and he said he was all no. So all I could do is take him at that. But here's what he can't do. He can't go back for the reasons why Daryl Jackson is talking about leaving. He can't go back to Miami, and he can't go anywhere else because he's literally in the backyard of his mom. So Daryl Jackson's waiver is all dependent upon them clearing him for moving back closer to home. And I'll say this. The thing that's going to – oh, my bad. Here's the thing that he's going to also have to realize. So Josh is going to realize this part. He's already realizing part of it. When you sign a contract, we got to read the fine print. And you got to make sure before you make your move that you understand every move that's available to you, and you make sure you do it the right way. If not, you find yourself liable for certain things that may come to it. But like I'll say this, some of these contracts that some of these guys are signing, I'm not saying I wouldn't sign it, but they're like 360 deals in music. And if you don't know what a 360 deal is in music, I'll probably go into that more in a more jokingly manner on tomorrow's Big Games BS. But like, you don't want to sign a 360 deal. I can tell you that much. Well, that's not true. It's not the greatest contract. You got to outperform the 360. But like that's that. So but Daryl Jackson, I think Daryl Jackson signed a 360 deal too. So I don't think he's getting out of it. I don't think he's going to jump ship on that. Like I wouldn't advise any of them. If somebody called me and said, James, I wouldn't advise them to do it. I probably wouldn't advise them to sign it, but I definitely wouldn't advise them to do that. How you feel about the Colorado transfer topic? I'll probably talk about that tomorrow too. I fuck Deion with Magic's dick. If you know me long enough, I don't like Deion. Don't care for him. This is a long time ago. This is 20. You're talking about since 2004, so it'd be almost 20 years ago. That I haven't liked Deion for 20 years. So yeah, it's par for the course. Listen, I want it's not black or white. It's just still very few black coaches. I want any coach to be successful. I want Deion to be successful at Colorado. That doesn't mean I can't say Deion ain't shit. Multiple things can be true at the same time. Now, Deion, who goes in on the first day, well, first, let's go through the whole history of Deion Sanders. Prime Prep Academy, where he chokes out his principal. It's an unaccredited high school that he got young black men and families to come in and become part of a high school that he failed. Part of the penalty of leadership is being accountable. He was the head, he was the face, he failed, and none of the kids who transferred there went on to college. That's that. 2, he went on and he bounced back. I'm gonna use this analogy. Everybody talks about crabs in a barrel. Crabs in a barrel. Oh, black people don't like this, James. Crabs in a barrel. One, a crab's natural habitat is in a barrel. But how does a crab get to the top of a barrel? Nobody ever talks about that. I'll tell you how a crab gets to the top of the barrel. By pulling other crabs down and pushing up on top of other crabs to get to the top of the barrel. So if somebody's to snatch a crab from the top of the barrel, it's nothing but karma. Although the crab is not the natural habitat. So Deion pulled a bunch of people down to push himself to the top. Anyways, to the top. I love crabs, so I like eating crabs. Whatever. Pushed himself to the top. He bounced back, got the Under Armour deal, got all bunch of stuff. NFL Network, doing his different things. Prime time on the phone, talking to the different people, being cool, being Deion prime time. Gets the opportunity at Jackson State, goes on, does his Christian thing. God told me that I need to go leave my 40 acres and a mule, or is it 50 acres and a mule, to go to Mississippi and bring the school up to the top. And he did that part. He made them more noticeable in the short term. Didn't win any championships. She won SWAC championships, but didn't win any national black college championships. Gave them hope by tugging on the very heartstrings of every topic of HBCUs. He knew what he did. It was very well played. Told them they were good enough to tell them on the way out that I'm leaving because you weren't good enough. To go to Colorado to tell everybody on the first meeting that I'm coming in with Louis Vuitton luggage. Basically, I'm replacing everybody in this room is replaceable, which I have no problem with. But if you're going to tell everybody that they're replaceable, then you should at least do the minimum and make sure that they have the opportunity to be able to leave so that you have the scholarship space that's necessary for you to be able to do what you need to do. That would be the respectable thing. I don't want you here. I need that space, but I'm going to let you go do whatever you need to do elsewhere. Because here's what Deion would. If Florida State held Brendan Gant, who was on a visit there, and Derek McClendon's film or their transcripts, or they slowed down any aspect of it, Deion would take to social media and paint Florida State in a nefarious manner. And he would have every right to do so. That would be some hater shit. And I guess to summarize it, what Deion is doing right now to that boy, is some hater ass shit. If you want him to stay, then recruit him to stay. But if you don't want him, we seen your shitty ass practice film. You posted it on YouTube. So what's the point? What's like to not give away to this other kid? So whatever. And we got, what was his QB standards, James, to his recruiting and QBs? I don't know what Deion's standards are for QBs. I just know his son is going to be the starting quarterback. So, which Shedeur looked better than I thought he would look. I'm not even going to lie to you on that. Like, Shedeur is if Shedeur Sanders can be at least what he was at Jackson State, I think he's a superstar in the making. He's a handsome guy, handsome kid, very charismatic. More so, I understand why Deion loves this son more than he loves the other sons. This son is a little bit more like him and gives Deion the chance to be able to flourish. I just have a concern with Deion being 55 years old already in a sport that's going to take a lot of energy, in particular in recruiting. Will he be able to get it turned around in 5 years? I don't know, but I know right now they're at 71 scholarships that are taken. So like that's going to be extremely difficult. Oh yeah. That's right. My bad. Coach Kev gave a break. He's like, he did say that all of his quarterbacks, like he had the different things, which is funny because he said something out loud that's in a lot of coaching circles, and it stings a little bit more because he's a black belt, and it stings more because his son doesn't meet the standards in which he's going to recruit. Says he wants a quarterback from a dual family, certain GPA. That son might have the certain GPA, but his son is definitely he's definitely divorced from that wife. Now I ain't gonna lie, boy. Nicole Murphy, I just seen Nicole Murphy on a video with Lou Young at the fight. And boy, I tell you what, boy, that guy, you a pepper. Guy, you a pepper. Still, you ever seen them old? I don't really know. I'm sure. No. Actually, you know what? Like, what's that old white broad that with the big Dolly Parton? Like Dolly Parton, knows she fine. She been fine for a long time. Dolly Parton been fine for a long time. Halle Berry fine. Like, if you see that old woman that's just fucking fine, and they know they fine, they just got a look about it. They just Nicole Murphy knows she fine. And goddamn, boy, on God, like, yeah, Lou Young, man, you did it for all of us old soul guys that like old women. So, but on that note, man, any other questions about Florida State, transfer portal stuff, or I guess whatever other topics? I'll take some other topics, seeing as I did a show in a fucking week and a half, so I'll give you guys I'll star y'all for that. Man, thank y'all for 23 fucking likes already. That's what the fuck I'm talking about, man. Y'all share this shit too. And make sure we get to over 2,000. I'm tired of holding this $200, man. I want to give somebody $200 and some tickets. I renew my I hope you guys renewed your Seminole booster packages because I did. And by the way, once we get, if you're in that big games club, we're going to be giving away like if you're a member, we're giving away tickets to the spring game over. We're giving away tickets to the LSU game. You're gonna party like I party. We'll give them away 3 to 4 tickets for every home game for FSU this year, including UM. So and we may end up doing more, but we know my seats are immaculate, right on the sideline where everybody comes in. So other than that, if there are no other questions, just let's be different than other fan bases. And it's not hate on the kids when they decide to do what's best for them. And yes, Coach Kev, Tony Tokai is dope. I think he's the next offensive coordinator once Alex Atkins takes that next step. I like Alex too. So, but Tony's got a lot of Kenny Dillingham in him, but he's going to learn a little bit more because he'll be under Mike Norvell for a lot longer. So, but on that note, man, y'all have a phenomenal Taco Tuesday. I'm going to go eat some tacos with my kids, and then I'm going to go have a cigar, and I'm going to think about the positivity that we have going into this season and how I'm going to make a lot of money off of UM fans by making bets. And I'm going to create a new collective designed to encourage kids to leave the University of Miami by giving them a deal upon hitting the transfer portal. So that's the way I'm going to use my money and be petty. Y'all do what you want to do, and I will see you guys tomorrow.